Welcome to this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review, a roundup of the highlights of government-related activities and programs that have taken place over the past week. In this program, we focus on the period November 10th to the 16th. Coming up, 2017 to 2018 tourism season expected to be record-breaking. National Youth Policy tabled in the National Assembly. St. Kitts and Nevis to receive validation certificate on December 1st, and Ministry of Health draws attention to women and diabetes. These and more ahead. Thank you for joining. My name is Jacqueline Bryan. A special sitting of Parliament was held on November 16th to present awards to the 25 most remarkable teens in the Federation for their outstanding achievements and contributions to society. Following a nomination and selection process by the St. Kitts and Nevis Departments of Youth Empowerment, the awardees had already been chosen, but the names were only revealed this past week in the House of Assembly. The young achievers were congratulated by members from both sides of the House and were encouraged to continue working selflessly in their communities and for their country. The Department of Youth has implemented the 25 Most Remarkable Teens program for the last 7 years, which means that to date, some 175 teens have already been awarded through this program. The event is held annually during the month of November, considered Youth Month. To see the names and photos of all the awardees, you can visit our Facebook page by searching for SKNIS Media on Facebook after you log into your account. You might have seen a larger than usual group of young people cycling through your area last weekend. They were all participants in the second annual Youth Islandwide bike ride organized by the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment. It was also an activity held to mark Youth Month. The group actually consisted of 72 individuals, which included adults who are cycling enthusiasts. They started at the roundabout next to the entrance of the RLB International Airport and ended on the Bastille Bay Road. Acting Director for the Department of Youth Empowerment, Pierre Liebert, said he was pleased with the bike-a-thon and he thanked all the persons who took part. He also mentioned the encouragement that some cyclists provided to their fellow participants, adding that it was commendable. The Federal Youth Policy of St. Kitts and Nevis was officially introduced in the National Assembly by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, Honorable Sean Richards. The youth policy provides a roadmap for including youth-related issues in the decision-making and planning process from the years 2017 to 2022. Mr. Richards explained that now that the federal youth policy has been laid in Parliament, the next step is for the strategic plan to be put into action. The strategic plan accompanies the policy and lays out how the different aspects of the policy will be put in place to ensure all of the different goals outlined in the policy can be achieved and recognized by young people.
The goal of this policy is to mainstream the issues faced in ensuring that all youth in our federation have a fair, equitable opportunity to succeed in becoming balanced, self-actualized, productive contributors to all areas of our society. This policy therefore seeks to speak to the creation of direct action plans by the government, the nurturing of intersectoral partnerships and linkages with both public and private institutions.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, the Honorable Sean Richards. Also, during the recent sitting of the National Assembly, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, reported on the ongoing success of the tourism industry. He said that more than 1 million cruise ship tourists are expected to visit St. Kitts and Nevis during the 2017 to 2018 season, a feat that will be achieved for the first time. He said that a 4.4% increase in stay-over visitors is expected also this year, compared with 2016's 125,000. Also, a 50% increase in visitor arrivals from the cruise sector is expected this season, with an estimated 1.5 million passengers. Nearly 200 million EC dollars will be pumped into the St. Kitts and Nevis economy between November 2017 and January 2018 alone, thanks to a booming cruise tourism industry.
It's the Business Research and Economic Advisors reports. It is a report commissioned by the FCCA, that's the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. And they determine the spend based upon empirical data and statistics, the spend of every visitor in every jurisdiction of the 35 jurisdictions under their watch. And what does the Brea report say? The Brea report says that every visitor that graces the shores of St. Kitts and Nevis spends $111.08 US dollars.
Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsey Grant. With tourism being such a significant contributor to the economy, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mrs. Caroline Henry Morton, said that it was important to keep the conversation of tourism alive in the society. According to the Permanent Secretary, the industry had major implications not only for the economy at present, but also for livelihoods and the future of the island. She made the statements on the November 15 edition of Working for You. She went on to highlight that Tourism Awareness Month, which is observed throughout the month of November, was designed to be a concerted effort by the ministry to emphasize and educate the public about the importance of the tourism product in the Federation. The theme for this year's Tourism Awareness Month is Enhancing Our Nation's Prosperity by Nurturing Tourism Sustainability.
We feel that without people being sensitized as to what the deliverables are, what the expectations are, what are you working towards? You're working in a vacuum. And as I was saying to Alice just a little while ago, we really feel that every month is Tourism Awareness Month. It's just that we have selected November to kind of drill down a bit more and to intensify some of the discussions that we would have and so on. But we want this discussion to be taking place year round, that people, wherever you get the opportunity to talk to our young people, to talk to our citizens about the role that they must play, the very important role that individually and collectively we have to play.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mrs. Caroline Henry Morton. 2017 is being recognized by the United Nations World Tourism Organization as the International Year of Sustainable Tourism for Development, under the theme 12 months to celebrate and promote the contribution of the tourism sector to building a better world. The Federation is set to mark another momentous occasion. St. Kitts and Nevis will be receiving an elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis validation certificate on December 1st. This will make St. Kitts and Nevis one of the first English-speaking countries in the OECS, that's the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, CARICOM, and the Americas, to receive this certificate. The Federation is among 6 islands in the Caribbean that will be acknowledged at the World AIDS Day ceremony under the theme Access to Health. The other islands are Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, and Montserrat. A communique issued by the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization stated that St. Kitts and Nevis was validated as achieving the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis. St. Kitts and Nevis celebrated World Diabetes Day on November 14. This year's observance had a special focus on women, with the theme being Women and Diabetes, our fight to a healthy future. Non-communicable diseases, also referred to as NCDs, under which diabetes is categorized, is one of the leading causes of disability and death in the Federation. This was revealed by the Minister of State with Responsibility for Health, the Honorable Senator Wendy Phipps, at the recent sitting of the National Assembly. In delivering an address focusing on this year's theme, the Senator disclosed that there are considerably more women than men in the Federation living with diabetes. According to Ms. Phipps, 71% of the overall persons registered in the public healthcare system as diabetics are women.
We are at our 17 health centers. We are now recording, based on our diabetic registers, that there are 1,313 diabetics within our public health system. More concentrated is the statistic when you look at it in the context of 934 of those 1,313 persons being females and 379 being males. Moreover, the data is also showing us that of that figure, 603 female diabetics are in St. Kitts and 230 males. On our sister island of Nevis, there are 331 female diabetics and 149 males. In essence, what this does is to paint a clear picture that far more women in our federation are now having to live with diabetes than men, since of the total registered number of diabetics in our public health system, some 71.1% of them are women.
Minister of State with Responsibility for Health, Honorable Senator Wendy Phipps, also said that the Ministry of Health congratulated the St. Kitts Diabetes Association in what they continued to do every year in terms of health promotion and education. Representatives from the National Bureaus of Standard in the region were in St. Kitts and Nevis this past week, participating in a regional persistent organic pollutants, also referred to as POPs, Inventories Validation Workshop. The two-day workshop was held on November 16 and 17 and took place at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. The workshop was organized by the Basel Convention Regional Center for Training and Technology Transfer for the Caribbean region, also referred to as BCRC Caribbean. It worked in collaboration with the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards within the Ministry of International Trade. The workshop supported the updating of national implementation plans as well as the discussion of results for the broader project of which those plans are a part. The project is underway in 8 Caribbean countries, including St. Kitts and Nevis. Acting Director of the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards, Hiram Williams, emphasized the importance of the Federation's participation in such a project and noted that it will prove beneficial in the future. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis hosted the first ever national conference on labor at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort on Tuesday, November 14th. Stakeholders from a number of agencies from both St. Kitts and Nevis, including members of the recently installed Tripartite Committee, attended the one-day meeting. Topics reviewed at the national conference included the labor and employment landscape in St. Kitts and Nevis, labor issues in the context of economic integration and free trade, and promoting decent work. A group discussion also honed in on priority issues and challenges for St. Kitts and Nevis. During that discussion, the participants shared their experiences and perspectives in order to identify solutions and best practices for the way forward. The national conference was co-sponsored by the International Labour Organization, also known as the ILO. Social Security was also a sponsor, and the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis. Claudia Coengerts, director of the ILO's Caribbean office, said having a forum to discuss such issues was important.
I invite you to apply new knowledge and perspectives that will emerge from the interactions. This can be the first step of a process of continued deeper engagement on the decent work agenda in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Claudia Coengerts, director of the ILO's Caribbean office. And that concludes this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review. I was your presenter, Jacqueline Bryan. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.